Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Bikes or Death podcast. As always, my name is Patrick, and I am your host. And on today's episode, Ariel and I just got back from riding the Arkansas Graveler. For those of you who don't know, the Arkansas Graveler is a 5-day bike tour / bike festival / bike party in Arkansas. This was their second year of this event, and I've been able to participate in both editions of this event. The first year took place up in the northern part of the state, and we started in the Ozarks, and we rode through the Ozarks, through the Delta, all the way to Jonesboro, Arkansas. And this year they switched it up, and we were riding through the southern / central part of the state through the Ouachita Mountains. We started in Mena, Arkansas, and rode all the way to Russellville, Arkansas. And on today's episode, Ariel and I are going to tell you all about our experience at this year's Arkansas Graveler. Spoiler alert, we had a fantastic time. It was a lot of fun. It was really hard, a little bit wet, but that just made for an excellent adventure. And it was really fun to experience this event this year with my friend Ariel Marlowe. So that is what we got for you on today's episode. And no ads today. Today's episode is brought to you ad-free by the Ozark Foundation and by Arkansas Tourism. So thanks to y'all for supporting this episode. And without further ado, let's get to my chat with Ariel Marlowe. He and I recorded this episode the day after the Arkansas Graveler, and we just pulled up some tables outside of our hotel while we were waiting on our flight back to Texas, and we had a nice little chat. But before we get to it, let's have my friend Miles Arbor kick it off with the Bikes or Death theme song.
You load up your bike, you ride away from home. You could be with your friends or you could be alone. You ride for a day or maybe more. You just love being in the great outdoors. Everything you need is strapped to your bars, including that new pillow you got from Santa Claus. And then you think, oh shit, to yourself. You left that super lightweight tent on the living room shelf. Bikes or death. Bikes or death. Podcast.
Ariel Marlowe, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, it's good to be back, Patrick. This will be the third time I've appeared on the podcast. Well, do you count the mini ones? 3.5.
3.5.
3.5.
No, 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah. Math is hard.
No, this will be 3.5.
Will it?
Yeah.
So you did two of the ones at Cycle East?
Yeah, so the big one, and then the one that you were doing with Hannah, and I just popped in. And then the half is the mini podcast with Bikepacking Roots.
Yeah.
And Noel. And then this is number 3.
3.5.
3.5, I can count, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I was just talking to Natalie like a week ago, or I guess it's been like 2 weeks ago now. And she said that she was like, you really need to get Ariel on the podcast, like as like the main guest. And I was like, well, good news. He's going to be my main guest for the Arkansas Graveler episode. And she was like, perfect. I'm looking forward to listening to that one.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'll make sure I make Natalie proud.
Yeah. This is for you, Natalie.
This is for you, Natalie.
And for the Ozark Foundation.
Yes. And for Megan, because tomorrow's her 31st birthday. So happy birthday, Megan. You'll see
shout
this.
out.
You'll listen to this well after your birthday. Hopefully not well after, but
No, it'll come out this week.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's still her birthday week. It
still
counts.
Birthday week, though. Birthday week, month.
It's either a week or a month.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start with current events. We're stuck in Little Rock because our flight got canceled. We were supposed to fly out last night at like 7. Found out right before that our flight was canceled due to weather in Dallas, so we couldn't fly out. So now it's Monday and we're still here.
Still here.
But you promised everybody on social media they'd hear the story.
Yeah.
So right off the top, since you teased it on Instagram,
yeah,
what's the story?
So the story about us still being here. It's like, man, it has been an eventful. What time is it? 11:25. It has been an eventful 20 12, 16 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
So we got to the airport, drove in, got everything done, loaded all our stuff in. I think like we got food, and we were both pretty struggling because it was a very early day. No, yeah. So we finally like got up to go, I think, figure out where we were going to podcast because we had about 2 hours before our flight, and we were walking to look for a spot, and we realized that our flight is canceled. It just says it on the board. There was no announcement made, and we had no notifications, which I guess happens when someone else books your trip. So, you know, sorry that our life is so baller. But so, yeah, our flight was canceled. We immediately kind of, to figure out what was next, they rescheduled us for a flight today at 8:55 p.m., which we didn't really think was acceptable. And so we worked with the Arkansas tourism travel agent person to figure out when we could get a different flight.
Shout out Madison.
Shout out to Madison. And so we ended up booking a flight for today at 3:50. But we also ran into some other people trying to get to Austin. Someone's supposed to start her first day of school at San Marcos at Texas State. And so she was trying to get there. We were trying to get home, but we made a new friend, and we'll see them when we go check into our flight. But then, you know, we have the hotel. They book the hotel. They get the shuttle for us. We were like, okay, bye. We say bye to our new friends. We walk outside. We do not get picked up from by the shuttle for 45 minutes. And let you know, the hotel is walking distance.
Yeah, we could throw a stone from here and hit the airport.
Yeah.
And we would have walked if we didn't have 2 bikes, 2 carry-ons, and and we were tired.
The Graveler, they let you bring a duffel bag that can weigh 20 pounds and a plastic bin that can weigh 50. And so me and Patrick brought everything. Well, at least I brought everything. I brought my tent and my hammock stuff. So basically, we waited for a ride. 45 minutes later, we got picked up. Came to the hotel, settled in, took a nap, went back out because we were kind of just like tired, needed to eat. Got a recommendation, went back out. Went to Four Quarters in downtown Little Rock. Yep. I would recommend. It was a great time. Shout out to Harrison, not my Austin Harrison, but my Arkansas Harrison, who gave the recommendation, and we had a blast, honestly. They played good music. We had some good food. The drinks were cheap. And then we met a bunch of nice people.
Yeah.
This is where
we turned the night around.
Yeah. So we turned the night around. We turned it around. And then we left, and we saw people in love running through the city. We saw murals. Patrick wrote a piece of what's it called? Interactive
like
art.
Yeah. Like a coyote.
Yeah, coyote interactive art sculpture. And we were really having a good time. The Uber came. And then this is where things start to get interesting again. So we get back to the hotel. Our key does not work.
Yeah. Our
key is not working. It is, 12:30 a.m. at this time?
Sounds about right.
Our key's not working. We go down. We get new keys made. Go back up. And then the door's still not working. And we begin a process for the next probably 30 minutes of going upstairs and downstairs. Just riding the elevator back and forth, trying to figure out this room key card situation. Turns out the lock is dead to the door. The electronic lock is dead.
Yeah.
And they can't open the door. They use a little device that is probably the jankiest thing I've ever seen. I don't really understand how it works.
That was wild.
But the only employee on shift tried to use it. I tried to use it. We couldn't get it. So the solution was just to put us in a new room. And so finally, probably about, you know what time that was?
Close to 1.
I must have texted Megan. It was 1:53.
Oh, good.
When I told Megan that we were finally sleeping in the room next door to our room with only the stuff that we had left our Airbnb, our room with. So like our clothes, I luckily had a battery pack and a cord. That's what we had. That's what we had. And so, yeah, they woke me up. They woke us up at 8 a.m. And we're able to get into the other room. So that was that. What a roller coaster.
Yeah,
of emotions we've had in not only Little Rock but Arkansas as a whole. And so that's how this kind of trip is ending. We'll get on a flight today and hopefully make it home without any bad weather. But I think it's time to talk about the Graveler.
Yeah. Yeah, that's current events.
Yeah, current events.
It's been a wild 24 hours, but it's been a great week.
Yeah, it's been a great week. I think like there was a chance that this last 24 hours were going to ruin our trip, but I think that a lot of friendliness and me and Patrick having each other, and reminders that we oftentimes do hard things and tell other people to do hard things, that we can kind of get through this one.
Yeah. We're tough. We can do this.
We're tough together.
We did have fun last night. It was just, then we got, anyway, that's what happened. Arkansas Graveler 2025. Let's go. So Ariel, you've been on the podcast, but you haven't been my main guest before, and so let's just kind of like introduce you to the audience. Do you know that Austin is my biggest listenership is out of Austin?
Hey,
so
let's go.
A lot of people will know.
Then I don't need to introduce myself.
Not too much. I don't know. Brief introduction. Who's Ariel Marlowe?
Ariel Marlowe. Let's see. I always say that I am from North Carolina. I live in Texas, but I refuse to let go of that North Carolinian title. I still have my 910 number. But I do a lot of work in community building. I work for the Austin's local transit agency, in addition to kind of a lot of other jobs working in that community engagement space. I lead bikepacking trips. I help host a monthly music event. I think my goal and my mission is really to just create more opportunities for people to have fun and connect and grow together. And that's really what led me and Patrick to meet on this path of creating, bikepacking adventures and opportunities for people to like really connect and really grow and push themselves.
Yeah.
So that's a short version of me.
Yeah, and most people know, like you touched on it, like Ariel helps me put on the events, and whenever I did Arkansas Graveler last year, Arkansas Tourism and the Arkansas Foundation brought me in to cover the event, check it out, do a podcast. And this year, whenever they reached out to me, they were like, "We want you, and we want Ariel to be your guest." So Arkansas especially requested Ariel, which I love. And so we got to spend the week in Arkansas. What did you call it? A bike vacation?
Yeah, it was probably my first bike vacation in a very long time. The first time I was on a trip with no leadership responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For context for this conversation, like talk about like your personal, riding style and the types of events that you typically do.
Yeah. My riding style, it's funny when people meet you and they say, "Oh, like, what do you do in terms of bikes?" And it's like, they're like, "Oh, do you do road or gravel?" And I'd like to set the record straight. I first and foremost am a cyclocross racer.
Mm-hmm.
That is where my heart and my intention is at. I don't know if my skill's really there, but I sure do love it.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of that, and I also do a lot of gravel riding and bikepacking. When I first got into cycling, and this sounds really silly, I was telling someone this the other day, like 2020, 2021, my main goal was to bikepack. What I did to build up to that was I wanted to get really comfortable on the bike, handling the bike, being in places that I felt uncomfortable. And the goal was that like at any point in time, I'd be able to take care of myself if I were stranded or all alone in the middle of nowhere. And so I worked really hard to kind of build up to bikepacking. And I will say that I was helped along the way, but a lot of the work I had to do was like by myself, which was pretty scary at times. But it's one of those things of, you trust yourself, you trust the work that you've done, you listen to people that have done it, and you learn from the people around you, and you just try to make the best of it, and also figure out ways where you can take care of yourself, that in those ways that meet you for who you are as a person. And so, yeah, I help run the bikepacking program in I was going to say in Cycle East, in Austin through Dog Speed Cycles. I did get my start at Cycle East, RIP, and had some of the best times in my life. But that really created, I think, a hunger and momentum in helping people get on bikes and go explore the outdoors in like really meaningful ways. And that kind of led me towards Patrick, which has been cool.
Yeah, it's been great. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, happy to.
Only just begun.
You can't see, but I'm dabbing.
So you can't see, but I'm dabbing. How many okay, to set the stage, like the Arkansas Graveler is a 5-day
bike festival. It's a bike moving party that we rode from we rode from Mena all the way to Russellville this year, and I think the total mileage was supposed to be about 260 miles, with daily mileages between like 63 and 75 miles, basically. But for you, like, how many of these like multi-day, 4+ day bike trips have you done?
Two. I was like, if you count if you count the Texas Showdown Series events, then it's what I've ridden in 2 of them, the multi-days.
Yeah.
If you count personal adventures, 0.
Yeah.
It's funny. When Patrick and I first met, I had actually told him that I really had no interest in participating in the events or bikepacking for multiple days. But I really wanted to help create those opportunities for other people.
Right.
And then I got tricked into riding East Texas Showdown, which I have no regrets. And I think it's actually the best thing for me was to be able to go do it and then work from having the experience rather than being like, an outsider trying to figure out what the people need. And so, yeah, I don't often do multi-day bikepacking trips. I'm definitely like a 1 night, maybe 2 nights. I don't believe in recycling bibs. So I need new freshies. And when you have to carry everything on you, you end up cutting the trips short. But yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, it's mostly just been the Showdown events.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, like, coming into the Arkansas Graveler, were you nervous, excited? Like, I mean, how far outside of your comfort zone is this type of riding?
I'd say I was nervous. It helped that I did not have to pack my gear on my bike every day.
Yeah.
I do somewhat know my limits. And with a packed bike and riding single speed, man, you get tired of being on your bike very quickly. And so I think I was a little nervous. I hadn't been riding much in the buildup, but I actually read up on the event, and knowing Scotti, who's the lead organizer, and like listening to it, I realized that like there was going to be a lot of room for grace on this trip.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of totally different than like what we run.
Right.
It was not solo self-supported bikepacking adventure, ultra bikepacking adventure. And so I knew that if at any point in time I didn't feel well or I wasn't able to cut it, I could, make the call. I could put a message in the WhatsApp. I could call Scotti to please come pick me up. And so I think like that helped ease a lot of like my, I guess, like anxiety around it. But I think Patrick knows this. Like, I just kind of show up and do stuff anyway.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how I am. I just try to make the best of it. Hopefully there's structures around me, and I work to build structures around me that help create systems of care. But I really am kind of just to jump into things and go for it. And so I think at the first day, I was feeling very excited about getting on the bike. I know my fitness, even if it's low. And so I was a little worried maybe further down the week, but I knew like I could kind of handle it the first couple of days.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you touched on something really important. And what is great about the Arkansas Graveler is, I mean, you alluded to it, like they let you bring a duffel bag that's 25 pounds and a bin that's 50 pounds. So you can carry, they're going to carry 75 pounds of your crap from point A to point B, and it'll be waiting for there. So all you have to do is ride. They have SAG vehicles all over the course. They'll like
aid stations every 20 minutes, and 20 miles.
Yeah, so they'll like, if you get to aid station 1 and you're like, oh, I'm having a rough day, they'll like bump you up to aid station 2 if you need to. I mean, they have medical people at every aid station. They have IVs waiting for you when you get done.
It was well run, yeah. When I looked in that, I was like, man, I'll ride my bike once and then just join the media team.
Yeah.
That was like the worst outcome, was that I just like join the working team. And so I think like I wasn't that stressed out because of the way that the event was set up.
It's something I think you and I are both passionate about, which is building community. And like through our events at Texas Showdown Series, we try to make them like community friendly, community based, and also like a kind of like a gateway into the sport of bikepacking. And this event is similar to that in that you get to ride long distances and see like beautiful Arkansas and ride like, you know, coming from Texas, this is rough terrain. We don't have mountains, sustained climbs like this. And so, you know,
there's no black snakes in Texas.
No, we don't have any black snakes. We'll get to the black snakes though.
BRB.
Yeah, we'll be right back with that. But yeah, I love, and that's one thing we saw on this event was that, I mean, like I met a guy from Waco that bought a bike 3 months ago and came and did this and rode every single day. And there was like, I don't know the numbers, but there's a decent amount of people who are like looking at this event as like an opportunity to go like push themselves and be supportive, which like opens up the gates and lets more people come in, which is how you build community. It's how you introduce people to doing this, and you give them a little support and you give them an opportunity to like see what if they like it.
Yeah. And I think I will say like there were people that did ride this event packed.
Yeah.
There were people that packed their bikes and rode the event.
Yeah.
And so it really created the space, like the flexibility for you to choose your own adventure within the confines of the structure of the event. And so I think like that was really helpful. There were a lot of people, like Patrick said, it was their first bikepacking trip. And to be able to, you know, come and do it in this way, I think was, I think just to come and do it in this way was really cool and helpful. It was a good entryway. It might have been an expensive entry point into the sport, but I think like a very safe way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it is very well supported, and like they have 40 people on staff that are like running this thing. I mean,
they said there's like what, one staff member for every 6 people that were signed up.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's wild.
Yeah. It's hard because I don't know how many events are like this. Like I'm not familiar with any events that are like this well supported. And I mean, it's like when you get to camp every day, it's not just like, hey, you're at camp and you're done. They have like archery competitions or fly fishing. They have live music every night. They're feeding us dinner. They're feeding us breakfast.
They're giving you suggestions.
All we have to do is ride your bike.
Things to do in the local place, in the local town. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's been good. So let's run through our week. But first, I think it'd be fun as a starting point for both of us to share how many miles we rode in the 30 days leading up. So the month before Arkansas Graveler, how many miles did you ride?
It's been a rough start to the year for me bike-wise.
Me too.
In the 30 days before Arkansas Graveler, I biked 255.26 miles, mostly commuting.
Yeah.
Thrown in with a couple of bikepacking trips that I helped lead.
Yeah. So I got you beat, but in the wrong way. I rode in the 30 days leading up to this, I rode 102.69 miles. And that's legit. I did not round up. But I'll echo what you're saying. I mean, it has been an absolutely wild and busy start to the year. And I really wanted to get some more riding and training in leading up to this. And just for fun, the way I train in Bryan College Station, because it's flat there, is I have these 2 parking garages that are right next to my house. They're a mile away. They're 2 8-story parking garages, and I just ride to them. I ride up and down one, up and down another, and then I just go back and forth and do that like 10 times each, you know, to like try to get some training for this. But I came into Arkansas like, well, one, I was sick the week before. Like I was blowing my nose on the plane,
we were both sick.
you know, and so I was like under the weather and under train. And I'm like, all right, you know, I felt the same. I knew there was support, but my ego wants to obviously like do the whole thing, right? Like you want to try to do it. Especially since we're going to be talking about it, we want to see as much of the course as possible. But anyway, I came in like a little bit worried and concerned about where my fitness was. But also with I've done hard things before, so it's like it's not going to be like I'm not like way outside my comfort zone, but I'm like it's going to be painful on some days.
Yeah, and I think like the thing too is like Patrick lives, eats, and breathes pro slow.
I do.
And so like it's one of those things of like when we're thinking about doing these events, we're both thinking about finishing.
Right.
But I'm thinking about finishing in like a racy mentality. Like I'm trying to like get it done as fast as I can.
Yeah.
And Patrick's like wanting to get it done and enjoy it. Get it done and enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Which is funny when we do rides together, we'll hang out and then he'll say bye-bye to me. And then like even on this weekend and like we'll talk about it, but there was a lot of like where I would just go and wait for Patrick or go look for Patrick and wait for him to come and we'd ride for a little bit and then do our own thing. Similar to our ITT.
Yeah.
Wait, I guess that's another episode.
I was thinking about that while we were talking.
We did this ITT episode. I forgot about that.
I meant to bring that up earlier,
like
and then I
half asleep
forgot.
for
Yeah. We have an ITT episode when we attempted the Central Texas Showdown route. I made it like 220 miles or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
31 hours.
31 hours of just pure bliss.
Just pure bliss.
And hot.
Yeah. And Beyonce.
Yeah, so let's do a daily. I mean, it's only 5 days, so let's do a daily recap. For our daily recap, should we talk about the day first and then give our stats for each day, or vice versa?
I don't know. That's a great question.
Let's talk about our day and then do stats.
Okay, cool.
We'll say what we ended the day with as we wrap it up. So day one was Mena to Glenwood, and that was a 63-mile day with like 4,500 feet of elevation. And
did I skip some of the elevation?
Huh?
Nothing.
So day one for me, I felt good like most of the day. I mean, first of all, I guess it's very important to mention that like last year the Arkansas Graveler rode from Fayetteville to what was the name of that town? It's where U of A is. Oh shit. Anyway, we rode across Arkansas through the Ozark Mountain range to the Delta, which is on the eastern part of Arkansas. And this year, the route they switched, and we rode through the Ouachita National Forest, which was really cool. So for me, it was cool to like have the Ozark experience, see the northern part of Arkansas, and then this time come and see more of the southern part through the Ouachitas. And so day one, we were in the Ouachitas pretty much the entire day. It was absolutely beautiful. And ultimately, like I felt good throughout the day. I was hydrating well. I was eating well. I was feeling good. And I felt good all the way up until mile 7. And then, I felt good until 7 miles from the finish. And I started feeling like super weird, like dizzy, nauseous. It was almost like I was about to like pass out. And I wasn't overheated. I wasn't dehydrated or anything. And I really couldn't place like what was going on with me. And even now, like I still don't know. I don't know if it's because I came in a little under the weather. I had COVID a couple months ago, and there's been a lot of talk about the fact that I might have long COVID, and I'm having some weird symptoms related to that. But anyway, like I was able to finish out day one and get to camp. But when I got to camp, I was just completely spent.
I've got a good picture of you when
do?
You're like hanging out in the hammock and I'm like shooting through the V of a tree and you're just like staring off blankly.
Dude, I was like legit out of it. But I did get the best camp spot. We slept on the banks of the Caddo River. And I had a spot like way back in the corner. I hung my hammock between two trees right on the banks of the river. And, you know, there was that like little waterfall stream. Mm-hmm. It was like right next to me. So like all night it was just like speaking to me while I slept. But like I felt legitimately like what I expected to happen is I would get done with the day and I would lay in the hammock for a little while and I would feel better. I'd eat some food, drink some water, and like I would come back to life, but I never did. So that's a quick synopsis of my day one.
Yeah. My day one was cool. Oh wait, it started so weird.
Yeah,
I was like, wait a minute, let's rewind this.
Yeah, you got to start with Yeah,
I think it's funny because my life is constantly so busy that I do forget like minor details because I like jump from thing to thing to thing. And as I sit here, like looking at pictures and looking at the notes I have and trying to recap, I totally forgot that I started the day with a nice nervous tummy. I normally don't eat well when I wake up early. And so that's kind of my issue is like, I can't really eat like solid food until like 11 o'clock. And so I have to kind of use like protein shakes and things to get me going in the morning. And so I woke up Tuesday morning getting ready. This was probably like 5:30, 6 a.m. or something. I woke up and did not feel good. And I was coughing a little because I also was sick or getting over this illness. And so I remember I'm like coughing and I kind of just go to the bathroom to like cough and maybe like cough something up. And it just like, as I'm walking to the bathroom, I cough and I go, oh, and like just kind of run. And Patrick's like, what? And I just like threw up. I just like threw up that morning. And I don't know what it was. I hadn't really had anything on my stomach except for water. And I just like, threw up kind of, and this is gross, obviously, threw up some bile and stuff. But it was like, I did that and I walked out and then I go, oh yeah, feel perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. He literally was just like, oh, I'm nauseous. 30 seconds later, he was throwing up. He came out of the bathroom and was like totally fine. I'm like, talk about puke and rally, man. That was wild.
And then we went to, we started there at the Masonic Lodge. That was cool. It was nice to kind of see everyone. But I couldn't eat anything. I have gluten. I have to eat gluten-free. And so it's difficult for me to find food, especially like carbs. And so, they had the whole biscuits and gravy and runny eggs 2 different ways, and stuff like that. And, it was really lovely and nice that they were there for the community. But it's kind of times like that where I can't really eat anything. And so I kind of silently suffer a little. So I think that morning I mostly just had coffee and like a piece of bacon or something like that. It was not advisable. And right before we left, the last thing I grabbed was some a honey stinger gel. Or goo or whatever, so I could have something. And so, then it was really cool. We got to see Scotti. We're meeting everyone, talking, hanging out. Andy's there, so I got to catch up with Andy since I missed out on Rule of 3. And that was awesome. And we're all just lining up and getting ready. And then so I'm in the front and I'm feeling jazzed at this point. I've had a weird start to my day, but I'm ramped up, feeling jazzed. I love racing. I love the energy at start lines. We're all being kind of goofy lined up. You're meeting the other people that are kind of pushed in the front. We take off, and I promise you, like 500 yards into this event, I pull off because I realize that my C post is probably 2 millimeters too high. Yeah. So I pull off.
I blow past him.
Everyone just blows past him because we have a neutral rollout of like 2 miles. And so, Patrick goes by me. He's laughing. Everyone's like, oh, you're already quitting. And also, to be fair, I'm doing this single speed. Yeah. On my single speed Chumber Terlingua. It's geared, at this point in time, it was geared 40-19. And everyone had already been questioning my decision-making skills.
Let's pause right there because I meant to ask you why single speed? In Arkansas. Yeah. And an important note here, Ariel was the only person out of the 200 plus people here on a single speed bike. So he earned major cred. Yeah,
I got my polka dot. It was my polka dot Hearts jersey. Yeah. I got my Hearts jersey for climbing. Why single speed? There's 2 simple answers. There's definitely complex answers. The 2 simple answers are, it's the only bike I had available, and I'm an idiot. There you go.
Yeah, I think it's a simple, like, you don't own a geared bike right now, do you? That's functional?
I own one. It has not been in my possession for several months, and I have not asked for it back. Yeah. But I've got 2 single speed bikes. I've got Chumber Terlingua, which is my my gravel and cross bike. And then I have a Chumbastella, which is the hardtail, which I maybe should have brought that, but I haven't got a bike fit on it yet. So I'm a little nervous. I think that was the big thing, was like, I think that bike might have been better suited, but I wasn't sure I could ride like 60 plus miles every day on it and challenging terrain and be comfortable. Yeah. And so I didn't bring that one. Yeah.
You mentioned on your Strava that at the start line, Scotti said some inspirational words. Do you remember what she said?
Yeah. Scotti said, "This isn't a race."
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like that echoed in my mind all week.
Right.
It was just a nice reminder by like a person I care about. And so in like those hard moments, it's like, the person pops up on your shoulder, someone you care about, and they're like, hey, just a reminder, it's not a race. And then the devil pops up on the other one. And sometimes I think the little race devil over there is actually Andy. And it's Andy like in like a tutu, or just being like, let's go. Just like ramping me up, trying to get me hype.
Yeah.
But it was nice to just like, I think that reminder of like, this isn't a race. And that was important because how long did it take for me to? Oh yeah, if you go look at my Strava, what was it, like 7 miles in, we hit the first climb and my heart rate spikes.
Yeah.
We did it. I wouldn't say I burned. Well, I definitely burned some matches because as I said, I did not feel myself properly to start this event. And so I'm looking at the readout, neutral rollout ends. I'm hammering to try and catch up to that front group. So what do? I see a hill up there. I take a gel. I eat that gel. As soon as I like roll into, and again, in single speed, so you're trying to hit momentum in these climbs, I probably get 20 feet in this climb and my stomach drops. And I could just feel that gel like hit my empty stomach and my heart rate jacked up. It jumped to like 189.
Oh.
I got really hot. I had headphones in. The music got way loud. My head got hot. And instead of like pushing through, I heard the words, this isn't a race. And I just got off the bike in a climb, middle of a climb. Actually, well, I don't know if it was in the middle. But I just got off the bike. And everyone's like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? And mind you, this is like 7 minutes into this event. I'm on single speed. I'm standing out for very many reasons. I'll just say that. And I just have to, in that moment, I have grace for myself and I take my headphones out. I take my helmet off. I contemplate taking all my clothes off because I'm going through it in this moment. And I just stop and I just start breathing and I start looking at everyone else riding up, and there's an excitement there. And so once my heart rate drops down, I think back to like 180, it didn't take very long. I just started jogging up the hill. And so, I'm like, it's cross season, and everyone's laughing, and we're all going, and I'm jogging up the hill. I eventually ride, and I do a bit more of the ride, or climb on my bike, and then I just decide to walk up to the top. I get to the top, and you can tell it's the first climb. And like so many people are struggling. So many people are walking up it. And it was kind of that thought where I was like, did I make a mistake?
Yeah. And what was your gearing?
My gearing was 40-19. And it is an oval. The 40 is an oval. So I thought that I might have been okay. But I did, as a backup, bring my 20 cog. And so that was with my gear. And so in that moment, I decided that when I got to camp, I was switching my gear. And I don't want to hear any of you geared people or any of you single speeders talking trash to me because I completed the ride with that gearing.
Yeah.
I did not change it. I didn't shift.
I
didn't do anything silly. I finished the ride. But yeah, and so it was really cool. It was that moment I brought my camera along for the whole ride. It was in my handlebar bag. And so I was able to get to the top of that hill, snap some photos. And, there were a lot of big smiles, a lot of grimaces, but it was like that first hard part of the weekend.
Right.
And I think really did kind of set a tone. It was hard, but there was so much joy. And like when everyone got to the top, basically everyone just stopped and it was like an unofficial rest spot. Everyone was there hanging out, talking about, oh no, this weekend's gonna be hard.
Yeah.
I'm snapping photos, catching my breath. I see Patrick. I got a really good photo of Patrick biking up that hill because he finished it.
I did.
And yeah, I think the rest of the day was totally fine.
Did you have the experience throughout the week just riding in Arkansas where like you're going up hills and you're like, this is the hardest thing ever, and I'm a terrible cyclist. And then you get to the top of the hill and you go down. You're like, I'm the best cyclist that has ever been.
I actually do that the opposite way.
You do it
I go up hills and I'm like, I'm the greatest. No one else can single speed climb like I can.
Yeah.
And if they can, I don't know who they are. They don't exist to me. And then when I descend, I'm just like, oh man, this is actually really scary, and I can't wait for there to be another ascent.
Yeah, we are opposite.
Yeah.
We're exactly opposite. I come alive on the downhills, man. And that's what motivates me whenever I'm climbing a hill is all I'm thinking about is one, I mean, yeah, it's hard, but two, I cannot wait to get you earn that downhill, you know, and like when you get to enjoy it, it feels like a huge payoff.
When I climb, I think about I hope that someone has made a segment of the climb and that I am knocking people off the list. That is like my hope in a climb. I'm like, oh, I want to get this over and also see if I could do this better than other people. And I think that's like when the descents is like, people are like, how fast can I go? And I'm just like, how hard can I hold on?
You want to take souls.
Yeah. But no, the rest of the day I think was like, had that rough start, but the rest of the day was beautiful. The rest stops were great. People were so wonderful. Met a bunch of people at rest stations. And then, finished the day. Like Patrick said, it was on the Caddo. So I think I got in and we set up camp. Patrick and I both hammocked that night, which was awesome. And there was water. So I just went and sat in the water for a little bit, which was really good. Yeah, it was nice to go be in water after that long day.
Yeah. All right, stats from day one. I guess I'll go first. We're doing this because I want y'all to see the difference between me riding geared and him riding single speed and how pro slow I actually am. So day one, my mileage, 62 miles. My computer read 4,000 feet of climbing, 9.9 average miles per hour, and my max speed was 35.5. What you got?
So I guess I'll round some of these numbers. I looked at yours and it was like on the dot, and I was like, mine was 62.37.
Yeah, I rounded a little.
But yeah, like 62 miles, just under 4,000 feet of climbing. My average speed was 13.1.
Damn.
My max was 33.3.
Okay.
And because single speed, I'll give you my RPMs and my heart rate.
Hit it.
I averaged 71 RPMs and my max was 151. And my heart rate, I feel like that's incorrect because I have to look at that again, but my average was 147 and I think my max was, I have 185, but I know it was 189 because it was a new heart rate threshold.
Right. It was a new record.
Because I thought I was going to die for a second.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah. Okay.
Beat me on day one. Anyway, I went a little bit faster. Day two was Glenwood to Hot Springs, Arkansas. What was the mileage? The mileage was supposed to be 65 miles that day with about 4,000 feet of climbing again. I woke up feeling kind of okay, but like on events like this, you never really know until you start riding, you know? And like there's always a break-in period. You know, you had a hard day the day before, you wake up and it's going to be hard the first 10 or 20 minutes and then you kind of like ride into it. And I still felt terrible. Like my body didn't have any energy. I was having the nausea and the lightheaded stuff again. And so I made it to the first aid station, which was at 23.5 miles. And made the decision, like I was like, I'm just gonna catch a ride from aid station 1 to aid station 2, and then ride in the last like 16 miles, I think it was. But like even sitting in the car, I was feeling like I was just feeling weird. Like I was like an out of body experience almost. Like I was just. We got out at the second aid station. I got out of the truck and I was like, felt like I was gonna faint again. And again, it's like not that hot. Like the weather was actually like really nice and cool and everything was great. I slept well. So still don't know what was going on with that. It is frustrating to like, I've been telling people like, it's frustrating to like not be able to pinpoint exactly like what's going on. And I've done enough of this to know usually like what's going on with my body and I can pinpoint the issue and I can eat more, I can drink more, I can sleep or whatever. And I just wasn't able to pinpoint and still don't know exactly what was wrong. But day two was a little bit of a bust for me. Still in the Ouachitas, it was absolutely beautiful. And it was a bummer. Like I was riding in the car, the SAG vehicle, and just watching all this like beautiful, beautiful like riding and regretting it so much that I wasn't riding it. But also like I knew that I shouldn't be riding a bike then. So day two, mine was kind of short.
Yeah. I did the full day, fortunately. It was day two one day when I was chasing you too. I think
At the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started, or other than day one, I started before you, but I was ahead of you on day one because you stopped with your seat post. But every day I was ahead of you, and every day you passed me at mile 7 one day, mile 8 one day, and mile 7 on the another day.
Yeah, and I like never realized I passed Patrick, and so like each day I'm like hunting him down. I'm showing up at aid stations like, where is he? Where's he at?
Day
like,
two's the day where I was taking a nature break off the side and you passed by me. And so I didn't even think about it at the time, but you spent the rest of the day like, where's Patrick?
I was like, he has to be going so fast for me not to see
Patrick's
him.
not pro slow anymore.
And I was like, what is going on? Like, he must know that I'm right behind him, and he's just running away from me. I thought that a lot of this weekend because we also both had our phones on airplane mode. There's not a lot of service out there, and it doesn't really help to have your phone on.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah. I forgot that was like, the first day of me trying to chase you down.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the second day for me was good. Like I said, I changed my gearing. I woke up feeling quite refreshed, and I think like, oh, that's what it was. After the first night, my legs were so sore, but I was kind of out of it, so I ended up walking around camp a lot that first night. And so by the time I went to bed, my legs actually felt a lot better than they did when I first got into camp. So when I woke up Wednesday, I felt really good. And so I put my brightest kit on, and I ate a piece of bacon and had yogurt that morning. Yogurt with some fruit. And then, I took off. And so at that point I was running. I put the 20 in the back. And I forgot about day one. I kept having flat tire issues. I like had a slow leak that I kept having to inflate.
That's right.
And so I like wasted all my CO2 because I don't carry a pump because I'm a new wave cyclist. Remember the part where earlier I said I was an idiot? And so, I had that. And so I also, Fat Tire Bike Shop was there all weekend doing bike work. They were awesome fellas. Looking forward to getting a chance to hang out with them, in their towns. But they did awesome work. And Kevin had a conversation with Kevin. Kevin looked at my 38 hybrid tires, slick in the middle, rough on the outside. And although he does also like the Vittoria Dry, 38s were not a good choice of tire for Arkansas.
No.
And, I was going to do it, but we ended up swapping to a 45 in the back to solve those flat issues and also give me a bit more tread. And that was great, I think. And I like to say it's like one of those things of like, I don't know if there was a difference. It could have been a pseudo effect, but like I had a great second day.
You were on the new gear. You had a new tire.
Yeah. Bright kit.
Yeah.
New cap. I was riding a new cap by Africap. But yeah, no, it was great. I think one of the other cool things was that every second aid station had like a sandwich building table.
Right.
And the first day, like I said, I have issues with eating. But the first day there was no gluten-free bread at the table. So I couldn't like eat any sandwiches. So I think I just did like a spoon of peanut butter and then just left. But this day, Bobby, the guy who was working the aid stations, really tall, sweet fella, who's a killer on the coffee machine.
Oh yeah. Coffee man.
He went and bought some gluten-free bread.
So nice.
So I was able to like sit down and actually have a sandwich. And it was another thing of like, I'm having a great day on the bike. And when I get in those modes, I think as other people do, it's like, you just want to get back on the bike. You get off, you get your stuff, but then you want to get back on. And that was one of those moments where I was just like, again, it's not a race. So I sat down and we chatted with people and we had laughs and I ate my sandwich. And then when everyone was like, oh, let's go off course to this water thing, I said, I don't go off course. And then I hopped on my bike and started heading back and got back on the route.
Yeah, that's worth mentioning. At Aid Station 1, there was a cool waterfall. And I did. Everybody was like totally worth it. It was like, I think a half mile down and a half mile up, a climb back out of it. With a little foot hiking to get down to it and all that. But it was
that
cool.
was Aid Station 1 because Aid Station 2, like you said, was with the dam.
Yeah.
Confusion. We should have recorded this podcast after every single day.
It's all right.
And then it would have been...
We're making it happen.
Us being confused a lot anyway.
That's why we're a team.
That's why we're a team. But yeah, I guess, because what was... Black Snake was...
That was day 4.
No.
That was day 2.
Black Snake was day 2.
Yes.
Was it before
that was coming
or
into
after
Hot
the
Springs.
dam?
After the dam.
Oh, because
That was the
you go
last
through
climb.
the dam and then you go into the national forest, and then you get on the national forest
Yes.
road. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, sheesh. Yeah. So I remember, and having a great day. We go to Black Snake. Everyone's talking about this climb. Everyone's I got what it was because I was at the last aid station, and that's when I ate the peanut butter spoon. And then was it Devin was like, oh, like you're gonna do so well, like you're geared, like you're gonna be geared for it. It's not that hard. It's gonna be over before you know it. I made it up. Let's see. So that's what she said. She was like, oh, it has switchbacks.
Yeah,
And
you gotta
so,
tell
like,
them what Black Snake is.
So Black Snake is it is the road, the public road that you take to get into, Ouachita National Forest?
Yep.
Whatever that section is of it, but it is like a public entry road, and it is a nuts climb. I think it's like it's like an average 11.1% grade. Someone said they saw 18% grade in it.
I heard someone say 20.
Yeah, it is a climb, and I wish like I had the stats. It would take too long to pull it up. You can look at my Strava. It's where my RPM stop for a while. And my heart rate goes back to normal. But it was basically like, because I remember it was about a mile long, and they had like 4 switchbacks. And my thing is like, when I think about switchbacks, I think about Colorado. And I think about riding trails. And when you do switchbacks, usually at that switchback part, it flattens out a bit.
Yeah.
And these did not flatten out.
Yeah.
The switchbacks pitched up.
They did.
And also it's a 2-lane road. When I first got on there, in single speed, you ride by yourself a lot. So I'm just out there. I got buzzed by a car while zigzagging in my own lane. I got buzzed by a car riding on the white line going up. So I felt unsafe in that moment. Then you're watching drivers be terrified as they descend this road. And so it was one of those, like, you don't cross it's like one of those hills that you shouldn't cross the yellow lines on.
Right.
And so I make it up, and I have about 3/10 of this climb left. And I realize that, like, I either need to cross the yellow lines or get off my bike. And so I got off my bike, and I just stood on the side. There's like no shoulder. It's like a gravel just slopes off. And so I'm standing on the side trying to catch my breath. And then I just start kind of jogging. I jog up the hill very slowly because, as I said, it is pitchy. And I'm jogging up the hill while grabbing my brake to keep me from rolling backwards a little.
Yeah.
I get to the part where they spray painted, "You can do this," and I had not nice thoughts. But then I look back and I saw people riding, and so I didn't want to get past, even if I am single speed. So I kept running. I tried to ride part of it again. That lasted, 10 feet. And then I finished the climb, and you get to the top of it, and it says top of the hill. I took a photo, and I'm chatting with like a Boy Scout troop at the top. The guy, one of the leaders, is from Houston, and he was like, "Oh, we don't have hills like this in Houston." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And so we're there, and at this point, like, I'm trying to catch my breath, and I look back and I realize that, like, there are a couple of people just riding up, and walking up. And so I'm shouting. I decide to shout, and I'm like, because I think what the hardest thing for me was I didn't know where it ended. And even though I had like my computer to tell me kind of where the climb was, it's still, I still wasn't sure. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, so I'm standing at that top where the sign, and I just start shouting, "This is where it's in. This is where it ends. This is the top of the climb." And you just see people's faces change. They're like, "Wait, there is an end? Wait, it's almost over?"
Right.
I wasn't sure if I should have believed that spray paint or not. And so, like, started cheering people on. I watched, it's like a group of 4 people, the friends. I realized they were friends coming up. I started like egging them on and trying to get them to out sprint each other up the climb. One guy did just out sprint his friends up the climb. It was super impressive. But then you saw other people coming up, and I decided to just wait and cheer those people as they came to the top. And then once we got to the top, we descended. And I think it's funny because people talk about one more climb. Going into Oaklawn.
Oh, yeah.
There was like that last climb. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Because after Black Snake,
Nothing doesn't count.
nothing felt like it mattered.
Right.
And I remember it was so funny because I was pretty exhausted, and I'm trying to eat some snacks, and I'm riding with, I think I was riding with, oh yeah, we get into Hot Springs. I'm riding with the guy. We get into Hot Springs. We start navigating the city. Me and this guy take a wrong turn. I'm like, oh yeah, I love biking in cities. So like, hang out with me. Let's ride close. And I'm like, yeah, I love it. Like, I went to New York and was the aggressor. And so I'll do this. I take the wrong left turn. And part of me wants to blame the route, but I won't do that. I'll take responsibility. I took the wrong left turn. Then me and this guy just like look at the look, and luckily Hot Springs is kind of built on a grid, so we cut through some alleys, made the right way. They have a wonderful greenway that we were going to take. We catch up to part of the group of the people that descended, like that did that climb I cheered on, and they're actually feeling a lot better than I am because they have gears. And so we're riding, and then all of a sudden I feel good. I feel so good. We're on the greenway. We roll by. They have a little pump track that's on it. They have a little skate park that's on it. And at this point, I feel great. And so I say, hey, you're good now. And then I just slowly roll. And I told the people, I was like, I'll see y'all at camp.
Mhm.
And then just like took off. And so, yeah, I don't remember that last climb because I, at that point, was just motivated to get done. And it was cool because at Oaklawn, when you roll in, they had it kind of the finish line. They had it taped off with stakes, kind of like how you would tape a cyclocross race, and it takes you all the way to the check-in table. And when I saw the arches and I saw the little inflatable guys dancing like I love to do, and I saw that tape, I ripped it into the finish. And I came through the thing, and like I literally I cross dismounted, I unclipped while running, stopped, and then just hugged the pole of the tent at check-in because I was done.
I was done. Yeah, I guess we got to, well, we don't have to, but we should talk about Oak Lawn. Scotti was super excited whenever they agreed to let us camp there. But Oak Lawn, for anybody who doesn't know, I mean, it's a big casino. They have a horse racing track around it. And so they let gravelers camp in the middle of the big racetrack circle thing.
Big grass lawn
the
where
big grass lawn.
They had what was it? They had snack stands, like vending stands. They had beer stands. Yeah, trees with cover. They had bathrooms,
showers, live music, food, everything.
music. It was
and a couple free beers when you got there.
Free beers. It was honestly,
and they gave everybody $10 for the casino.
Yeah, $10. Yeah, credit to the casino. It was honestly like perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
super
the only
cool.
downside.
When are you ever going to get to go on a
trees.
bike trip and like camp at Oak Lawn?
Yeah,
never. Like that was a once in a lifetime experience.
Unless you sign up for the Graveler.
Yeah, unless you do the Graveler and they come back and let us do it again. I mean, Oak Lawn lets us come back and do it again. All right, day two stats. 23.5 miles for me, 1,700 feet of climbing, 9.4 average speed. My max, though, is 38.4. I think that might have been my fastest speed, maybe.
For some reason, I also have 38.4. Maybe I just didn't remove yours.
Whenever you copied it?
Yeah, when I copied it over. Nice. Okay, my mileage was 66.39, elevation 42.75, max or average speed was 13.6.
Wow.
And I'm just going to nix my max because I don't think I actually went 38.4 miles. That doesn't happen unless it is a straight downhill that I have not braked on, and I also have gears and also someone sitting on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Because my body doesn't go that fast.
I hit that 38.4 on the backside of that first climb that you were talking about.
Okay.
For the day. So, and it was a gravel descent, so I was like ripping down that gravel.
Let's see, RPMs. I averaged 75, max was 148, and my heart rate was average 144, and max was 182.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I felt like it was good, especially with the whole Black Snake thing.
Yeah, especially with Black Snake.
Especially with Black Snake. I never want to do that again. Never.
So for day 3, this is different for Arkansas Graveler. Last year, it was 5 days of straight riding. I think they made a smart pivot this year and did a rest day in the middle, which was really cool because it was in Hot Springs. And if you don't know about Hot Springs, Arkansas, it is surrounded by national forest. Part of the city itself is in the national forest. and it's known for its like hot springs and its public bathhouses. And so day 3 was a rest day, kind of do whatever you want. I had a hotel, thank you, Arkansas Tourism, and I literally slept for 12 hours, like solid. I didn't set an alarm.
He disappeared.
Yeah, Ariel thought I was dead. Nobody knew where I was. I didn't think I was going to sleep that long, but I just, based on how the first 2 days went, I'm like, I'm just going to let my body take what it needs. And it needed 12 hours of sleep. And I woke up and I was in a tizzy because Ariel, on day 3, there was supposed to be a race. It was like a 45 mile race. That was optional. If people wanted to do it, they could. And Ariel, being the badass that he is, signed up for it.
Bad.
And I woke up and I was like, I definitely want to be at the finish line for Ariel to take pictures, shower him with the Modelo, and cheer him on. And I woke up and I'm like, oh crap. I hope he's not back. And I had some text messages from you and stuff. So, what happened with the race, Ariel?
Yeah, what happened with the race? You know, I went back and forth a lot on whether or not I was going to race. I think I went into it being like, nah. And then I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a people pleaser, but I can get,
influence.
I can be influenced.
Yeah.
I'm slightly influenceable. And so basically a bunch of people were like, man, it would be really cool if you raced. It would be so cool if you raced. And I was like, yeah, I guess maybe it would. Who knows? Maybe it could be cool. And then there was a KOM section. So, you know, there was a climbing podium that could be won. They were giving out jerseys for this stuff. And what really put the cherry on the top, or the hat on the dog, or whatever thing that got me to do it was, I went up to Scotti and I was like, hey, Scotti, so is there going to be a prize for if I do this single speed? And she just goes, oh yeah, absolutely. It's worth like recognizing that you did that thing hard. And I was like, okay, well then, yeah, I guess I'll race. And that's like one of my things is like, I am race avoidant because I do single speed. I'm race avoidant unless there is a podium for single speed, because one of the worst things is trying to race against geared bikes. And with the mentality of like, I have to beat this person with gears. That is like a super annoying like thing to do, because you just have to work and never give up.
Yeah.
And that's way less fun. And so she said yes. And I said, okay, great. And so I basically set everything up to be ready that next morning. I was not going to have a repeat of the whole not eating in the morning, not eating at night. I camped. And instead of doing the hotel room, I camped on the grounds because I wanted to have the full experience of sleeping terribly and then getting up and racing. Because I didn't want anyone to be like, oh, he slept in a hotel. And I wanted more reasons to feel good about myself. I slept on the ground. I did it single speed.
Right.
I begged for this.
Yeah.
And so I woke up at I woke up every hour, because also the only bad thing about, I think, camping on Oak Lawn was that there were lights in the trees and there were lights on the ground. And I was directly under one of the lights and directly next to one of the lights on the ground. So every hour I woke up, it looked like it was daytime on my rainfly in my tent.
Right.
And so I woke up every hour, went back to sleep. That was kind of fine. I'm used to that. But at 5 o'clock, I couldn't sleep anymore, so I got up and I went and got a protein drink, and I drank my protein drink, and on the steps of that, what's that thing called? A veranda? No, it's called
like that little
big dome thing.
I don't know. What would you call that? I know the word.
Yeah, me too.
But it's like an
Something
awning
Roman.
type thing.
Something Roman.
But it's
thing.
like built with like brick and mortar
pillars and steps and a big old dome thingy. And so I was just literally sat on that, and then I grabbed my bibs. And I was going to the bathroom to change and get ready for the race. And then one of the organizers came and he saw me and he goes, hey, part of the crew was out late, and the race isn't happening because part of the course washed out. There's a tree down. They spent an hour trying to clear a tree off the course, only to find out that like part of the course had washed out. And so at 5:30, I realized that I'm not racing. And so I can't go back to sleep because I've already been awake. And so I am basically just awake from then on out, eating, hanging out. I decided I was not going to touch my bike. I'm texting Patrick and trying to figure this whole thing out. But it was like one of those moments where I was just like, okay, cool. I should probably use this rest day. Now that I don't really need to ride, I'm not going to. A bunch of people rode. They, the organizers, Scotti and the other organizers put out some routes so that people could go ride 15 miles. You know, there was an out and back. There was a climbing thing that people could do. But I think it was one of those things where I was going to push myself for air quote reasons. And then when those reasons weren't there anymore, I decided that like I could just chill out and I could just take it easy. Like it's a vacation. It was one of those things. And so Patrick and I vacationed.
We did.
I mean, yeah, it was funny when Patrick finally texted me. It was like 11 o'clock.
Yep.
And the bathhouse we were wanted to go to didn't even open till 10. So I was just hanging out and he texted me and he's like, oh, hey, like what's going on? I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to the bathhouse. And he goes, well, that's pretty quick. And I go, Patrick, I've been awake since 5 a.m. Like, I've just been biding my time since 5 a.m.
Well, I think at that point, I didn't realize you didn't race.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it took me a while to figure that out. So I was like,
yeah, because
oh,
he was
man.
sleepy after sleeping. He was confused after sleeping for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then a bunch of people were, that's what it was. A bunch of people were biking into Hot Springs. I took the only Uber in town.
Yep.
And yeah, just like went to the bathhouse, took some photos, then like went in the bath. I spent 2 hours in the bathhouse soaking, just going from pool to pool to pool. And then Patrick showed up probably an hour in.
It's funny. I took the exact same Uber, same Uber driver.
And yeah, it was one of those days. Yeah, we did the bathhouse and then we met up with the Breakfast Club. Not the Austin one, the Graveler one. The Graveler one. The
and
Graveler
the Central
Club.
Texas Showdown one too.
And the Central Texas Showdown.
Central Texas.
We should give them like a moniker.
I just call them the Breakfast Club Boys instead of just the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll work on it.
But they basically had set up. They're like a group of friends who attended the event last year, and they've started, I think, a nonprofit around helping make the outdoors more, or working with groups to make the outdoors more accessible. One of their big demographics they want to support is veterans. I think all of them are veterans.
Two of them are.
Two of the three are veterans. And so they do a lot of work with helping support veteran groups. Yeah. I think they brought in, some vendors. They brought in some activities and some tabling things so people could learn more. And they sponsored a rider at this year. But they're a crazy group of fellas. But they did a brew crawl with a stamp card. And so if you went and visited, I think like 6 or 7 of the places and got stamps.
Yeah, there's a total of 7 stops. If you got 5, you got a shirt. If you did all 7, they had something else.
Like a hat.
It was a hat.
That's you got one of the official Graveler event hats.
That's what it was. A shirt and a hat. Yeah.
And so Patrick and I met up with them.
Immediately after leaving, it was so funny because I was really trying to rejuvenate my body. Slept for 12 hours. Went to the bathhouse, but we went to Quapaw, which was great, by the way. And came out of that, I was like, "Oh man, I feel good." Literally walked like 100 feet across the street and started drinking like right after that, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, "What are we doing?"
It was funny. Yeah, it was. It was hilarious. And I think like it was one of those like, okay, like don't drink too much because you have to ride.
Yeah.
And that kind of went out the window. Just because like it was such a vibe. And I think so many, and I'd say like, oh, and also the half Gravelers. No, they hadn't shown up because they showed up the next day. No, they showed up. I don't know.
They showed up
they showed up on the race day.
Yeah, but I don't know what time they got there.
Yeah.
We were drinking and at the bathhouse, so I'm not sure what time they actually got there.
But I think like it worked out because it was not only like was it a rest day, but I think with the race canceled, it became kind of like a enforced race day or rest day. And so many people did the crawl. Like they only had 50 t-shirts and like 2 bars into the place, they were panicking about whether or not they had enough t-shirts. So it was like such great energy. We went to, like Patrick said, Grateful Head, a pizza place. And we filled up we had to have a whole room, a separate room by ourselves. And we filled that up. And then we began to hop around and like, I think it was so cool, the places we went to and the energy of the groups and getting to meet people from all around the country that were on this ride in a really chill atmosphere. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time to have a rest day, like one to rest, but also like you've ridden with these people for 2 days now, but you haven't like got a chance to like chat with everyone. You're just riding bikes. And so like that day, yeah, there was a lot of people there and you got to actually like kind of hang out and chat and like get to know people a little bit better. So that was like a bonus.
Yeah, big bonus.
Should we do stats from day 3? I had 0.0 miles, 0 elevation, 0 miles per hour.
I had all of that, but 2 hours in the bathhouse and 1 lovely steak dinner at Porterhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my only goals were to get, I was like, Hot Springs, I want to visit a spa, and I want a steak. Those are my like 2 things I wanted, and boy, I got both. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Day 3 was awesome. I loved it.
Day 3 was great.
And so that set us up for day 4, which was Hot Springs to Morrilton, which was a fun day. For me, day 4 was my favorite day because I had been feeling poorly. We had that great rest day. I definitely tried not to drink too much, although I was day drinking all day. I was like kind of nursing it. And so I tried to set myself up for success on day 4. Started day 4, there was like chance of rain in the forecast. And so they were just like making us aware. They had like shelter in place options along the course. And I got to mile 32, which was a volunteer fire station. And they did they sent out a WhatsApp to shelter in place because we had some gnarly weather coming through. And that was actually like super fun. The people at the volunteer fire department were wonderful. They had peanut butter sandwiches for us. They had water. They had a big facility. And they also had a lazy boy reclining couch. And so me and the Breakfast Club, we all like hung out on this couch. And we were there a while. So like it we were like getting tired and sleepy just like hanging out on this couch. Like, are we going to keep riding because there was lightning? And we were looking at the radar, and I mean, there's this huge weather system coming in. So it was like, we didn't know if we were going to keep riding. And so mentally it was kind of like weird. But after probably about an hour plus, they started to give people like options because there was still a little bit of lightning, I think, and just like unknown weather situations essentially. And they were like, you can ride if you want to, or we'll like just shuttle you up to aid station 2. And I'm not a big fan of riding in lightning. And so I got bussed up 9 miles from 32 miles up to 41 where aid station 2 was. And I met up with Ariel, who was there. And I'll let you tell your story. But Ariel and like a bunch of people had dropped out. They were like, put their bikes on the bike in shuttle rack thing. And for some reason, like, I don't even know why. Like, I was cold. Mentally, I was like, I think this is over. The rain is just terrible, and it seems like it's over. But we were just, like, standing there for, like, another hour, and we were, like, just chatting. We were having a great time. And then, like, all of a sudden, I'm like, why am I here? The weather started to clear up, and I got literally, like, I told Ariel, I was like, I'm going to go check the weather. So I walked down to the aid station, checked the weather, and, like, the weather was clearing up, and I was like, I'm gonna go. And I had my bike loaded up on the shuttle to go back, and I took my bike off. Ariel's like, I didn't have a rain jacket, that was part of it. I was like, I didn't come prepared at all. Ariel let me borrow his rain jacket and kept going, and that made me feel, it was like I kept saying like, this is my redemption for like the first 2 days. Got back on the bike and honestly felt great. I felt great that whole day. Like it was like a light switch flipped. And I love riding like in kind of weird weather, or even like after a storm has passed when all the roads are like muddy. And for me, there's like an air of like excitement in it for some reason. And it just like makes it a little bit different and unique and exciting. And so we're just like cruising these freaking forest roads, and there's puddles everywhere and mud's flying in your face, and it just feels like an adventure. And I was just like, I felt so good, and I was like, I was proud of myself that like I had like mentally like checked out and then like said no, and I mentally checked back in. I was like, no, like go finish this thing off. So finished it off strong and like honestly felt good. And it was like such a huge relief because everybody knows like when you're like off on your bike and it doesn't feel good, it's like frustrating and it sucks. And it feels good to like get that monkey off your back and actually like feel good on your bike again. So
And I think that was an important note. Was like when you walked off to go check the weather, I like thought about it and I was like, why is Patrick here? I was like, he has no reason to be here. Like
Right.
he feels fine. He just got bussed up and kind of was like, I guess my day's over. And so like he walked over and like we basically at the exact same time. I was like, get out of here. And he's like, I'm leaving.
yeah.
And we were just like, okay, great. I was like, take my rain jacket.
Yeah. We had the exact same thing at the same idea at the same time.
And I think that's a cool thing is like Patrick and I know each other like riding wise at this time. And like we know like kind of where our limits are and how each other feels. And we've been pretty honest and open with each other about it. And so it was definitely like one of those like Patrick got there, he checked in on me, we hung out, and then I was like, you're good, go. And he's like, okay. He's like, and if Ariel's saying I'm good, then like he's probably good and doesn't need me here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just one of those like I was so happy that Patrick finished the day.
I mean,
like it meant a lot to me
Yeah.
too. So
No, and I appreciate your positive vibes. I gave you a hug when I left. I appreciate your positive vibes because I was like, I kind of didn't want to leave you stranded. Like you were having a rough time, and I was like, I'll just hang out with my boy Ariel. That was part of it, but it was good. It was like good vibes, and like I carried that with me all the way to the end. Like I was just in such a good mood. I was so happy. It felt great. But you, on the other hand,
Jesus, yeah, that was a rough day. But I was proud of myself at the end of it.
let's hear it.
So it was pretty funny. So let's see. So they had that there was supposed to be a KOM, like a climb
yeah, I'm glad you
on
mentioned
the
that.
race day before. And so what they did was they just they added that KOM to day 4's route. And so there was a build out of like where the aid stations would be because they had to adjust some stuff, and then where the KOM was. And so I spent that morning, I put my team kit on. Phenom, shout out to Phenom. I put the team kit on because I was getting race mentality that morning. I really wanted that KOM. I really wanted it. And so I was very good about my preparation that day. I woke up feeling good. Oh, we slept in a hotel that night. And so I woke up feeling good and was ready. And yeah, really went after it. I think Patrick took off early. I kind of be a slow starter. Anyone who's seen me race cross knows that. But yeah, it's funny. I have a video of like, I see Patrick way ahead and I record. I go, I think that's Patrick. And then I caught him and we're just chatting it up. And then I slowly roll away. But it was like, my goal was when the KOM was at mile 36 was to hit it as hard as I could. Like I wanted to basically chill and have a chill time until I got there. I brought my rain jacket because like I said, I was riding with my camera. And so I had a whole handlebar bag. So I was able to pack stuff. And so I had my rain jacket. And so at one point, it started to sprinkle. After the first aid station, it started to sprinkle. So I put it on and I passed the fire station. I did not stop at the fire station because it was too close to the KOM. I didn't want to like stop again. It was sprinkling at this point in time. And so there was a church that had a stop where a bunch of people ended up sheltering in place. Behind me, and my friend was like, hey, you want to hang out? And I was like, no, I got to go do this thing. And so I got to the KOM. I did the KOM, or I did the climb. I felt super good. Oh, that's right. I took my rain jacket off right before I hit the climb because I didn't want to overheat into it. Felt super good. Got to the top. We're descending. We descend back. We descend on the other side of the hill. I'm with the guy. And then we run into Brandon, who's at the bottom of a descent when it turns from gravel to road. It's a right turn. And he flags us and he goes, hey, the rain is getting bad behind you all. Like it's about to catch you. We're pulling people off course. And so when you get to the next aid station, you're going to be there for a bit. And so at this point, like we stopped. So I put my rain jacket back on. And at this point it starts raining. And so it's like it's a road ride. We probably biked like a mile and a half or something in. We get in, it's raining. I'm a little wet, but I'm warm because the climb. I eat. They don't have gluten-free bread there, so I just eat chicken salad out of a cup, like a little tiny cup. I eat 3 cups of chicken salad. And I do all the things I need because I'm just trying to, in an ideal sense, I wouldn't hang out long. I'd eat, then get back on the bike. But they're holding us. And so then the temperature drops.
And it got windy too.
It got windy. It had probably been like 90 every other day. It dropped down to like 78. And I don't weigh very much.
I think it was 68.
Was it 68?
Yeah.
I don't weigh very much. And I already have a hard time like holding heat, like trapping body heat. And so we were there kind of sheltering. And then because so many people were coming in and getting pulled off and they were busing people in, Scotti asked that she got another venue at the forest, at the park opened, but it was a mile away. She asked that if people had already eaten and rested and like take care of their stuff, if they could go to the next station. And so because I'm a team player and I'm willing to do whatever Scotti says, I went and did it. I took off. At that point, it started, like she made that announcement and then it started dumping, just dumping. Rain jacket or not, I got soaked. I took off and what we didn't know is that mile was uphill. It was uphill. And so I am cranking this climb, this mile out, uphill, torrential downpour, 155 pounds soaking wet. And I get there and they open the facility and the air conditioning is on.
Oh, right.
And so like we're all trying to get in, they open it and everyone just goes, freaks out and like runs away. So it's windy, it's cold. We're in like an outdoor open air space, all trying to like get our bikes covered, trying to huddle. I find a spot next to a trash can on the ground and I'm like curled up, knees in my chest because I wanted concrete on my bottom, bricks on my back because I knew I could get some warmth from that. So I'm feeling a little bit better. I move my bike out and at this point, people have been inside long enough. I try to go find somewhere warmer. I find a spot that's warmer, but the rain's just dumping. I'm chatting with some people I'd met. They were like thinking about whether or not they were gonna quit. At this point, I'm just like, okay, I'm fine. Texas Showdown series have prepared me to be a lot more comfortable with riding in the wetness. I'd say that's a real big thing that real big gift I got from those events.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Bikes for Death.
Anytime.
And so I'm just like trying to think of like, okay, I think I can still do this. I think I can still do this. When Scotti announces that basically the most of the storm has passed and it's still raining a little, but that they're going to let people go. It's still raining. And I'm like, oh, we'll see. And I stand up and just do not feel good. I do not feel well. I'm like a little nauseous, a little lightheaded. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to wait. Basically everyone starts to leave. There's like 3 of us. I go outside. It's warmed up a little bit. And so I'm just like outside kind of chilling. And then I'm talking to Scotti and I start thinking, right? I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm starting to get a little hypothermic and I'm like, okay, this isn't the first time this has happened. And after the last 3 times it's happened, I need to be smarter about this. And so I'm like, okay, I'm at mile, 42? The next stop is 55. It's a cafe. If I can get to 55, there's coffee. There's maybe something I can eat. And there's a way to warm up and be warm. And the thought is also if I get on the bike, I'll warm myself back up. But as I've learned, when you're racing single speed, and you weigh 155 pounds and you're wet and cold, you're not going to warm up. Like the amount of energy it's going to take for you to warm up will burn through all the calories that you have stored up. And then your body will have no way to keep itself warm. Or you'll just crack and have zero energy, which has happened to me twice. And so in that moment, I look at Scotti and I say, hey, is there any way you could just drive me to the next stop? I don't feel that great. I think I can continue, but I just need to get warm. And she's like, okay, cool. I don't have a bike rack. Can you take your bike apart? And I'm like, yeah, it's single speed. It's the easiest thing to take apart. I realized at the moment I have lost my multi-tool and I don't know where it is. And Scotti doesn't have one. And every other cyclist is left. It's just me, Scotti, and the Rangers.
Okay.
And so I do that. And the problem is I have to go get my bike in the rain and I'm standing by my bike in the windy hallway. And at this point, I actually start to get sleepy.
Oh.
And once I start getting sleepy, I know exactly what that means. I'm cold, I'm shivering, I'm wet, and I start to get sleepy. And I look at Scotti and I go, oh no. And she's like, what's going on? And I go, oh no. And she goes, are you hypothermic? I go, yes.
Oh, yes.
And so she just goes, okay. Oh, and that was the thing. I think she was like, she had told people, they were like, oh, if I don't want to go, like, bike back down to the other aid station where the medical was at a mile downhill. And so this one lady, Peg, set back off. And I was just like, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can bike downhill right now. And so, and it's funny because, like, all I remember is Scotti's face when she looked at me, and she just looked really concerned.
Yeah.
And so we got in the car. I warmed up. Like, she put the heat on. We took me down. Had the medics check me out. My blood sugar was 86, so within the normal range. But it took me like 30 minutes to warm back up, and I was like nodding off while the medics were asking me questions. And yeah, it was one of those, like, I just did not feel well, and like very fortunate that this event was set up in a way where they had medical staff, like EMS at the aid stations.
Mm-hmm.
They had ways to take us. They were willing to pivot at any moment in time. I got in the I got warm, and then Jeremy with Bike In gave me a hoodie, and he gave me some like down slippers to put on, so I was able to get out of all my clothes but my bibs, and like get warm. And I kind of like, I stabilized, and they gave me some food and stuff. And then I just got to kind of hang out at the aid station. We were waiting for the last people to come in, which, yes, was the Breakfast Club. We were waiting for them to get in because they might have had too much fun at the firehouse with Patrick. But yeah, we get in, and I think like, it was one of those things of like, I could tell, and like this leads back in with Patrick, but I could tell that he, at some point, was like, kind of stick around because I did not feel well. But I was like, at the point where I was like, I'll be all right. Like, you go finish this thing. And so I got a ride back into the finish line, which was awesome. And so, yeah, I think like, even though the day didn't really work out that well for myself, I'm also proud that I didn't, again, put myself in a bad situation like I have in the past. Like, It was like a really big growth moment for me. And Megan told me she was proud of me. And I've worn that badge with courage. I think like a lot of people were confused that I didn't finish the day, and some people did jokingly talk a little crap to me, but then when they heard that, like, when they heard that I went hypothermic, they were like, oh wait, never mind. But it was funny. It was just one of those things. I think like, it is things are set up as choose your own adventure, but you really need to have a good understanding of your strengths and your abilities and your, what's it called?
Weaknesses.
Barriers? Or not barriers, but
limitations.
Yeah. Because you need to understand that. I think like I at times, and it's not, I think, I do this at times, all the time. I minimize my achievements on the bike. Especially with like the single speed stuff. People are like, oh, that's impressive. And I'm just like, whatever, it's what I do. But it was one of those things of like, I had to remember that when you ride single speed, it is harder to gain speed, which means it's harder to get warm, which means it's harder to get your body back equalized, which means you burn more calories. And it's part of the reason why, like, Patrick and I had this conversation earlier or yesterday with this guy about nutrition, is like, I eat every 20 minutes. Because I am on the fine line of being in a caloric deficit. And that's like something I've had to learn and be smarter about. And so it was one of those things I think I was very disappointed to not be able to finish, but I felt like it was out of my hands, and I did a good job of recognizing where those limitations were, and what the outcomes would be, and making like the best decision.
I think that's important because we all struggle with that. I struggled with that on day 2 when I had to quit. But the way I reframed it is like, you just have to listen to your body. This is what my body's giving me. And there's still 2 more days of riding. And so like, take care of yourself so you can like keep going.
Yeah.
Take the chip off your shoulder. It's not a race. Like,
it's not a race.
Just do what you can do. And like, but it's hard. And I think everyone struggles with that. And so I think it's good to like, have that example like out, on a podcast, be like, sometimes you don't feel good and you have to listen to your body, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And you can ride another day.
Yeah.
All right, day 4. Wait, no. Yeah, well, it's technically day 4 stats, but it's day 3 of riding. So I clocked in at 59.2 miles total, 3,100 feet of elevation, 12-mile-an-hour average. That's which I want to highlight because the first 2 were like 9.9 and 9.8 or something. So I really was feeling good
That's
that
what
day.
I was like, yeah. I was like, leave me alone, Patrick. Go ride your damn bike.
I did.
Oh, wait. Go ride your dang bike.
No.
I think I can say that was
I think
catchphrase.
damn, yeah. It's my catchphrase. You have to 36.6 mile per hour max speed on day 4.
42.7 miles. 2,700 feet of climbing.
Wait, 42.7?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah,
so like
pretty
it was
good
kind
day.
of one of those things of like I felt good about the distance because I basically did the race.
Yeah.
It was like I did the race.
Yeah.
And I felt really good on that KOM. Like I hit my goals, which was to ride hard and do good on. Actually, I just wanted to do that KOM.
That's what you wanted.
That. I wanted that really badly. I did it probably. We haven't released the time. They haven't released the times yet, but I did it in like 11 and a half minutes or something. I think the person that won it was geared and did it 8:16, somewhere around there. So felt good about that. Let's see, max or miles per hour, average speed. There we go. Average speed was 14.6. My max was 34.7. Average RPM was 80. Max is 175. Average heart rate was 145, and max is 182.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
You actually rode more on that day than I realized. Like 47 miles, like you still had a good day on the bike.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I had a good day.
Yeah. You had a good day.
And then it was over.
Yeah. And you listened to yourself and you took care of yourself. It happens.
Yeah.
All right. We just had a little nature break. So where we leave off, we finished on day 4. We're hitting day 5 now.
Yes.
So day
5.
Day 5, last day of the Arkansas Graveler 2025. Riding from
Call this the point remove time trial.
Yeah, we rode from Morrilton to Russellville. And what's notable from the start about day 5 is that, first of all, we got to shout out Point Remove because it's a local brewery there in Morrilton. And they not only like hosted us, but opened up their event center so we could sleep inside. We were supposed to sleep outside, but there was a super gnarly storm that was passing through overnight. And so that was like super rad of them to do that. And the morning of day 5 was a continuation of the rain. We woke up to a tornado. What is it? Whenever you're just like,
It's a tornado warning.
it was a tornado warning. Yeah. So we woke up to a tornado warning, severe thunderstorms that were going to last at least 3, 4, 5 hours. Like we didn't know exactly.
Until noon.
Yeah.
The
Until
forecast.
noon. Yeah.
And
So
we're supposed to ride at 7.
we would go hang out inside Point Remove, just eating breakfast. And
We watched Happy Gilmore.
yeah, they set up Happy Gilmore
Yeah.
for us on big projection screens and just like hung out, shot the shit, ate some food, and just waited to see like what was going to happen. They told us the night before it was originally supposed to be a 75-mile day, but they told us to download a route that was 41 miles just for a timing perspective, because if they had to start late, then we wouldn't be able to do the 75. And indeed, they did make the call on day 5, the morning of day 5, that we're switching to the 41-mile route. And ultimately, they let us roll out at 11 a.m. There was beautiful weather. Like the weather was absolutely perfect. They scouted the route, and they actually found one of the trees got struck by lightning, and there was all the tornado crap. And so one of the trees like fell over in the course, so they had to do like a reroute. But for the most part, there was like started with like 10 miles of gravel. There was like a little bit of pavement to start, and then we had like a 10-mile gravel section through this like just farm fields, but it was like
it was a ranch. It was like it's the someone was talking about this. It's the what's the family? The big family? It was like one of their
Waltons?
No, I think it was the Rockefellers or something.
Oh, okay.
It was like one of the sons had a big ranch, and it was like that family's ranch is like all that land.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what the guy was talking to us about on the bus.
Oh, right.
Yeah, on
Jeremy?
the bus. It was no, on the shuttle back in, the bus back into Mena.
Gotcha.
It was, yeah, it's like a famous family, but they have like a giant ranch, and it's like that's why we biked through, and it was all those cows and stuff because it was like their ranch.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
Beautiful,
surrounded by like the clouds were like just hanging over the mountains, and it was just like it was cool. And I think everybody was feeling good.
And
we
it was
were
like
all just
smooth gravel. It was probably the
itching.
smoothest gravel.
Yeah, it was completely flat. Completely flat, smooth gravel. The roads were in great condition.
Saw a unicyclist.
Oh, that was so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see him ride, but going the opposite direction, I just saw him walking when he came by me, but probably like a 14-year-old boy, 12-year-old boy on a unicycle. But you actually saw him.
Yeah, I saw him riding. It was so cool.
We tried to get him to join the ride. We were like, hey, come ride with us. That's freaking awesome.
What's funny is, okay, so if I passed you at mile 7, he must have been around like 8. Yeah, but he was flying when I saw him. So I think he might have tired himself out.
Yeah.
It was probably just like that mile stretch or something.
That video that you got of him was epic. Day 4 was fun. We were all like itching to get on our bikes and feeling good. And it was only a 41-mile day. We had the gravel section that was really pretty and nice. And then it was all paved going in. And one of the highlights of the whole trip for me was this there's these downhills that are like perfectly pitched, and they're just the right steepness to where you never have to touch your brakes, but you're still like flying down the mountain. And it was probably like a 2 or 3 mile, just perfectly graded, windy road, and I enjoyed every second of that. Yeah, and then we finished off the day in Russellville, Arkansas. Feeling good.
Yeah. Was it Arkansas Tech?
Arkansas Tech, the name of the university where they let us use their Coliseum. Yeah, so again, because of the weather, their fields we were going to be on their fields, but they were all muddy. So they brought us into their Coliseum where I guess they do basketball or something in there.
Yeah, basketball.
And they put down like carpet and everything for us, and they had like a DJ and beer, and yeah, so it was a good way to finish off the ride. And a big shout out to like all the event staff, because like not only on that day, but we had weather throughout the week, and they just did an amazing job. Like it's really nice to be able to just like go ride and not worry about. We didn't have to worry about the reroutes. We didn't have to worry about course recon. We didn't have to worry about sheltering in place.
It's probably one of the best marked courses I've ever seen.
Yeah, as well
in a race
marked.
Too. Like there were certain times where I was like, I don't even need my computer. Like I could have just followed the signs if I was comfortable doing something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But the computers are nice because you want your stats.
Yeah. And I want to see what the climb is 2 miles away.
But it is so nice to like, you don't have to mentally worry about anything. All you like, your food's taken care of, where you're going to sleep, where you're going to shower. All you have to do is like ride your bike. And that is because the event staff is doing everything else. They're not sleeping. They were up there were so many stories we haven't told yet about how like on the race course on day 3, where they went out the night before, it was like 2 a.m. and Brandon Pack and Bobby Finster are literally cutting down a tree with a handsaw, a massive tree with a handsaw, only to get through it and realize that the road was washed out ahead and was like deep, fast-flowing water. But they did all the work. They did a lot of the hard work so we could just go ride our damn bikes. But anyway, day 5 for you.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at a message from Brandon. He's such a sweetie pie. Yeah, honestly, really good day. I felt great. The delayed start is what it was. It was funny. They like gave the shout to go. They're like, okay, we're going to ride in 30 minutes. And it took me like an hour to get ready. It was like everyone got frantic. But I also was like in regular clothes. Yeah, there were some people who spent the entire morning with their helmet on in anticipation of at any moment's notice being able to jump on their bike.
Kitted out, helmets on, ready to roar.
Yeah.
I was not in that mode.
I was not in that either. And so, and so, I mean, it was a good day. I think, like, I will say that for me, there could have been a bit more elevation. We'll talk about the stats afterwards, but I basically just spun my legs all day, and I had the best, beautiful time, but I was just spinning, which is funny because, and I'll say it's disappointing. Part of it's disappointing is that I left my bike out in the rain overnight.
Yeah.
And like should have maybe covered it or something.
But my cadence sensor died. I think the battery probably got wet. And so I wasn't able to see any of my actual cadence. So I just had to rely on vibes, which almost always certainly ends up with me overspinning, which is fine. But yeah. Let's see, any more of that? Let's see. It honestly was just beautiful.
It was just a nice day. It was
just a nice day.
It was a good way to finish off the ride.
Nice
Everybody was in a good mood that day. Like you could tell. Like I don't know, there was something like good in the end. Probably because it's like the end. We're all finishing. That's exciting, and we got to ride after being like locked down for a long time, and so everybody was like, I feel like I was feeling fresh. The only thing is my nether regions were starting to get. I haven't been riding enough, but I was feeling good.
And he refuses to put chamois butter on.
I did it one day. On day 2, I chamoised up. Or one day. I don't remember what day it was. One day I did.
He lives with the chamois butter guy all week, and he refuses to.
I had chamois butter on my bike the entire time, but I try to like, if I don't need it, then I like to kind of toughen things up down there, so I kind of. But it caught up to me for sure. I was having a hard time sitting on the saddle towards the end of it. But other than that, I was feeling good and really, just happy at the end of it. Like, felt good. Really enjoyed the weekend.
I'll tell one funny story, and then we can talk about how we wrapped up the trip.
Okay.
I want to talk about mini golf or golf simulation. That's what Brandon, he sent me a photo finally, the video of me finally.
Oh, good.
But yeah, a funny story is I don't often draft off people. Because like drafting as a single speeder can be really difficult to like hold on to the wheel of someone geared unless they're purposefully chilling. Because like I just can't ride at the same cadence as other people.
Yeah.
And so there were only a couple times this weekend where like people rode with me. I rode with people because they either I had to try really hard or they had to try really hard. And so there's this one point on day 5 where, like we said, it's flat. I'm spinning. I see people coming. I see people behind me, and I just keep trying to increase the gap, but it's real hard. Finally, I see who's closing on me. It's Isaac and Ilsa. They're from, I think, Fayetteville. But they were awesome, wonderful people that I met. I'd actually given them some chamois butter ultra because both of them, I think, some of this bikepacking stuff was a little new, and so they had never used the ultra. They had tried regular chamois butter, but especially when you're doing endurance stuff, it can like wear a little bit. And so gave them some of that. We all became kind of tight. And so I see them and they get close and I go, but it's 4 people, right? I see 4 people coming. And of course it's like them. And I go, oh, it's you guys driving the pace, catching me, of course. And they're like, oh, hang on. Like, just grab the wheel. And I was like, that doesn't really work for me. But he's like, you can tell that they are chilling that last day. Yeah. He told me they spent an hour at the aid station just hanging out.
Right.
And so they're chilling, but a chill drive pace. So I hop on. And it's like 4, I'm on the back wheel. I'm kind of hanging. I'm like, maybe I won't. Maybe I will. I do it for a bit. And at one point, I noticed something very odd. And so I have a video. I start recording, and I swing out to the left, and I just, like, see all of the bottom brackets and, like, all the drivetrains, right? I mean, I'm on the non-drive side, but I see it. The 2 people on the back are on e-bikes.
Oh.
And so, like, I'm hanging on, and I'm realizing that, like, the person in front, Isaac, is chilling. The other people are in e-bikes hanging. I'm working to hang on.
Yeah.
And at that point, I let him go.
Bye.
I let him go. I said, this ain't for me. I do not draft off e-bikes for sure. Well, maybe I do if they're chilling and there's no one around to look. But then what happens is I see that and I'm like, and then one of them goes to take a pull. And when they go to take the pull, I go, bye-bye.
Now I'm really out.
And I just let them go. I let them go. And I watched over like the next 5 miles as like the e-bike taking the pull, you see those 2 e-bikes slowly separate from Isaac and Elsa because they are e-biking. And then I made it my mission to catch
Isaac and Elsa
and this other regular bike person in front of me as we go into this long climb up to in the ride. Still in that racy. And so, yeah, that was like the funny thing. It was one of those, people always ask me like what my gravel hot takes are. And it's like, my things are like, don't draft off of single speeders because when it's their time, when it's your time to pull, it never goes well for them.
Right.
So like, why?
Yeah.
Why do it?
Yeah.
I when people draft off me in gravel races, I start taking sketchy lines.
I'm
Not
gonna
to like get them in trouble, but to have them leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah. But that's my little funny story about the last
All
time.
right. Day 5 stats. How do we wrap this thing? How do we round this thing out? Where are my stats? Day 5, 41 miles, 800 feet of climbing. So like you said, pretty flat. 12.3 mile an hour average, my fastest day, and max speed 34.4 on that epic descent that I was talking about.
It's funny because like I do not even remember descents. I was like, what? Which one was that? Okay, so 41 miles, 820 feet of climbing. I averaged 15.7 miles an hour.
Yeah, you were cooking.
Which is why I'm like really bummed that my cadence sensor didn't work. Cause like, I really want to know what my average would have been to make me go that fast. Like, I'm sure that like the math can be done and maybe I'll ask my coach if he can figure it out. But like, I averaged around 80, 75, 71, around like, 70 to 80 RPMs. Like I had to have been 90, 85, 90 to go like that fast for that long, especially that flat. So I'm a little sad that didn't work. But average heart rate was 152 and max was 181. So I felt like I was in a good heart rate range for the whole week.
Yeah, well, closing thoughts. I just want to say that for me, like I got to go to the first Arkansas Graveler and meet a lot of amazing people. And for me this year, so many of those people came back to redo, version 2, which really is a testament to like the event. And like, if you do it, you're probably going to want to come back. And so many people did. And I got a chance to like get to know those people even better. And I really like the community surrounding this. Like this is a cycling community building event for sure. They really lean into that. They facilitate it. And the people that come are awesome. And so getting to like hang out and get to know people better was like really amazing. And then like riding through the Ouachitas, like I said at the top of the episode, after riding the Ozarks, it was just cool to see the different parts of Arkansas. Arkansas is absolutely beautiful. It is one of my favorite states to ride in. It's so rural and remote. You just really get out into beautiful scenery, beautiful roads. And so it was a phenomenal year. And once again, the staff, I mean, cannot say enough good things about Scotti, the staff, Brandon. I mean, everybody. I can't list all 40 staff members, but it was so well supported.
Devin, Matt, Bobby.
They worked so hard. Bobby
Dirty
Finster.
Randy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. And we got to talk about the end of. We got to talk about how we finished out the day.
I was gonna say like. And I think this helped transition from what you said to what I said to where we were gonna go.
We're good. We're getting there.
We talked about like the people attending the event were awesome, and we got to make really good connections. But like, it's one of those things of like, how often do you meet event staff who are busy, but also like you realize that they are some of the coolest people ever? And like, I think Patrick had met them in the past or like at the last event, but like it was one of those things where like I got to spend time with the staff and I was just like, I wish I could just hang out with them. I wish we were all riding bikes.
Yeah.
And then you talk to them and they're all doing cool stuff. Like a bunch of them run their own events. A bunch of them like work in community spaces doing collaborative work. And so it was just one of those times of like, it was just really cool to meet the people doing the thing. And I think as like with Patrick and I being like organizers in different ways, there is that a little bit of like, I guess the distance between one organizer to the other, because like, it's like, oh, we do our thing. This is like our thing that we do. But being able to like really meet other people, it felt like we were at summer camp / like a conference.
Yeah.
And we were like meeting the other people in our field and like realizing like those people are cool too.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is great. And so when we were in Russellville, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do. And because it was like the last day, the staff were like, yeah, we're going out.
Oh, yeah.
We're going out. And me and Patrick needed, I think, a little nap before we went out.
For sure.
But we went out and met. We went to Point Remove again in Russellville
this time.
And we had to make sure that we let people know that we were not in Morrilton. We were at the one in Russellville. That was a hoot. And yes, I did order Taco Bell to the brewery. I DoorDashed it in case, anyone wanted to know or they thought the rumors were a lie. I did DoorDash Taco Bell to yet another brewery at yet another bike event. It's my thing. But yeah, so we were hanging out there and kind of at a certain point, some of the staff justifiably retired.
Absolutely justifiably.
Wanted to go home. Some of the Breakfast Club guys wanted to go to this live music thing. And man, I love them, but I tell you, I can't be rowdy that many days in a row. And so I think it was 4 of us. It was me, Patrick, Bobby Finster, and Brandon Pack. And so what we did, we were just like, actually, I thought we were going to one place. We all thought we were going to one place.
I think we thought we were going to where the Breakfast Club was.
And then we just started following Brandon.
Brandon's like, let's just go in here.
And he's like, hey, there's something down there. Let's go see what that is. So we just start walking. And then we sit on a bench and someone in a storefront that's like for a building that was unlisted on Google Maps, you didn't know what it was just open playing guitar and a bunch of people were crowded outside of it. So they're just like playing live music on the street. We're there chilling. Kind of confused. And then we decided to go into, what was that place?
I can't remember.
We decided to go into some bar. The bar that we were all going to meet at, but then there's supposed to be live karaoke, but then it turns out
old something?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Old something. But then turns out there basically wasn't enough room for all of us and karaoke wasn't what we thought, but also there was a bachelorette party happening. And so that's part of why we went to Point Remove. But we go back to the place and I don't think any of us but Brandon knew why we were there.
Yeah.
Brandon walks off, disappears in the back, and he comes back out with this look on his face. And he's excited.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks at the server and he goes, what's up with that golf simulator room? And me, Patrick, and Bobby are like, what? And she goes, oh, yeah, we could get you in that. And then so, Patrick, I'll let you go into the rest since I know you're a golf aficionado.
I was.
Patrick used to own a golf store, just in case you never knew that.
Yeah, I used to, from 2008 to 2012, I owned a golf store and played a lot of golf. And so I was really excited. I haven't played golf in a long time. So when I heard there was a golf simulator, and I was also, it's only fun if everybody is into the idea, but everybody was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. So we ordered some drinks, light up the
lots of drinks.
Yeah, a lot of drinks. Fire up the simulator, and I make a mess of the first hole. I'm striking the ball well, but I'm hitting it 60 yards over the hole. So I started off really rough.
I started off really great, by the way, just to let everyone know.
Ariel and Brandon were in the lead. They were both, you were winning. Brandon was second. And then I slowly, through the course of 9 holes, pulled y'all back and squeaked out a win at the end.
I think I was 2 shots over you or something like that.
It took me a while to figure out the golf simulator ranges because how, I know how far I hit a pitching wedge, but how far does it hit on this simulator? So anyway, but it was super fun.
And shout out to the simulator, but also to Raleigh, North Carolina. We played the par 3 community course in Raleigh, which I used to live on the backside of when I lived there and drive through. And I played disc golf and sometimes soccer on that course because it was the right by campus. And I never played golf there, so it was cool to play that simulation. And it was also cool for the rest of the group to let us play a par 3, basically pitch and putt.
Yeah, it was fun. We literally have to catch a plane. We cannot miss our flight today.
Yeah, we got to get to that.
So final thoughts on Arkansas Graveler.
Final thoughts. Do it. Make a plan. Save up. I'm going to chat with Scotti about payment plans. I don't know if they have one, but I have some ideas and how we can try and help people get here, especially, people who don't have as easy access to funds or the time to get off work or the ability to train for something like this. That I'd love to be able to help create a structure and a system that allows for that, because this event was amazing and it was worth every penny that other people paid. That was paid for me to be there, because 5 days of having people carry 70 pounds of your stuff and just worrying about biking and having food, having a staff that cared for you. Like, I think this was an amazing opportunity, an amazing event. I think it's definitely worth planning for and working to get to. And I'd love to see and be part of a way to help more people get to it.
Yeah. I kind of gave some of my final thoughts a moment ago on some of like my highlights. So I'll leave that, but I do want to plug Arkansas Graveler 2026. I've gotten permission to release this information. It seems to have been confirmed that 2026 Arkansas Graveler is going to happen in the Delta. And there, I think that it's like Hawks Ridge or Hawk Crawley Ridge or something. Oh, I wish I got the name. Remember the name. But they're going to do it in October. It's in conjunction with this like festival that they do there with like live music. And it's supposedly like a really big deal.
Live Blues Festival. It's a huge blues festival.
Yeah. And so I think the rest day next year is going to be like at the concert and all that. But everyone from Arkansas is super jazzed about it. Riding this ridge line, they say it's just epic. And I think that's one thing cool that they're doing with the Graveler is it was in the Ozarks, then we're in the Ouachitas, then we're going to go check out the Delta, and we'll see what year 4 holds. But I can't say enough good things about it. Arkansas Tourism and the Ozark Foundation are putting on a fantastic event. Scotti's the race director. They are paying attention to like all the details. And like I keep saying, all you got to do is ride your damn bike, and they literally take care of everything else plus like a lot more. And I'm grateful to be given an opportunity to come out and ride with everyone. Had an absolute blast, and it was super cool. Actually, we did an episode last year. I did an episode last year after the first Graveler, and I counted 9 people that came this year because they listened to that podcast, which was super cool. So it was a great week, man. I love the people. I love the riding. I have no bad things to say. I can't wait to do it again next year.
I'll add my last part, because I also can't wait to do it again next year. They should hire me. Everyone tell the Arkansas Graveler to hire me to come out, because I want to support and make these dreams happen.
If I was in charge, you'd be an easy hire.
Thanks, Patrick.
I think it might happen.
We'll see. I'll beg for it.
And it was awesome, like getting to ride with you and having you at this event. I'm so glad that you got to come this year. And it definitely like enhanced my experience just to get to hang out and ride bikes and have a good time with you, man. It's been fun.
It's been the best with you,
Patrick. And I hope we get on this plane.
My last thing is that I know that the outdoors can be nervy, especially for people of color and people who are in marginalized communities. And I know that being in Arkansas, there are questions about what safety means. And I will say that I think that the staff and the people during this event want it to be welcoming, and they want it to be inclusive, and they want it to be representative of not just the people that can afford to take a week off or to pay $1,000. They want it to be representative of people who enjoy the outdoors and people who recreate and people who want to challenge themselves. And so, like, if anyone wants to talk about that with me, please let me know. My DMs are available. Patrick, I'm sure will drop that in there somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say is that it meant so much that they bent over backwards to help me get to this event, that they reached out to Patrick to get me at this event. And I know I'm just one black guy who rides bikes, but I hope that, I believe that the energy they spent into that will be reflected by the growth that happens in this event.
Yeah.
I think it was, in terms of like, I'll say like an investment. And it's funny thinking of myself like that, but it's like, I realize like, if we can get one, then that means we can get more.
Yeah.
And if that one can help create space and talk and open room, like we can continue to do this because people want that to happen. And so please, if you have questions about any of that, let me know. Be happy to chat about it. Be happy to see more black and brown and non-traditional faces at these events. Like, we'll make it better. We'll make it hype, and we'll do it all together and have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've talked to Scotti about that exact thing, and I know for a fact that they want to cast the widest net possible. This is a community building event, and they really want to get everyone out here, and they're supporting everybody that comes. And I think you have some good ideas, so slide into Scotti's DM. All right. Good job, man. Good riding bikes with you in Arkansas.
Good riding bikes with you, Patrick. Bikes or death.
Bikes or death. Let's do it again next year. Bye.
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 All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And thanks again to the Ozark Foundation and to Arkansas Tourism for bringing Ariel and I out to experience this fantastic event and giving us a heck of a good time on our bicycles riding through Arkansas. And just a quick note, if anybody was curious about the business where Ariel and I were playing virtual golf, the name of that bar and restaurant is The Old Bank in downtown Russellville. Anyway, great time, great place. Go check it out if you're ever in the area. All right. Well, that is all we got for you on today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is always a pleasure. Until next time, you know what to do. Go ride your damn bike.
It was the middle of the night. You grabbed your knife and you held it tight. The sounds of beasts kept you awake. The sounds they made kept you afraid. In the morning, you packed your bike. Memories forgotten from the previous night. You rode faster than ever before. Was it your imagination or merely folklore? Fear turned into strength as you pushed further. Every pedal stroke, stronger and firmer. Your bike feels weightless, your legs aren't tired. You think to yourself, just a few more miles. Bikes, oh death. Bikes, oh death.